Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about what are you avoiding? And this is coming at a very timely time for me because I have been avoiding exactly this. I have been called and called again and called again to speak on the lessons that I have been learning, and I have been too nervous, too afraid, feeling I'm not ready to be able to show up in the way that I am obviously being called to. And so it felt very fitting to talk about what are we avoiding and why. And I recently was listening to one of those huge motivational podcasts, like the big music where it's like, you can do it or else you will suffer. That was what I was listening to. And one of the quotes that The Rock said, it's not The Rock, somebody like The Rock said, was, fear cannot survive when you confront it with action. It feeds on avoidance. Fear cannot survive when you confront it with action. It feeds on avoidance. And so I was totally wait, let's pause that, because it was just so, it just hit me really hard that it was wow, this is exactly what is keeping me from doing the thing. That by me avoiding it, that the fear is just growing more and more and more. And so today I just wanted to talk about avoidance and how it is feeding fear more and more. And maybe this can be a sign that you should go do that thing. And maybe after this video, you can actually learn how to do that thing that you have been putting off and avoiding. And so the first thing is, why do we avoid in the first place? Whether it be having that difficult conversation, writing that book, starting to go to the gym, whatever it is that we are avoiding, why do we avoid it? And why do we have fear around it? And from my own experience and realizing that the many of the things that I have feared in the past were because I was so terrified of what that level of potential of my highest version of myself could become. And that I knew that that thing was literally the block for me reaching that other side of that best version of myself. So this thing that we know that we're avoiding, it will not stop nagging us until we actually do it. And why will it not stop nagging us? Because that is the thing that will bring us closer to our soul purpose. Each and every one of us have come here for a reason, and that we have a very specific role to fill during our time here. And we all know what it is that lights our soul on fire, what sets our purpose apart, and that is terrifying to actually even say out loud. If we don't do that role, either we will die with tons of regret, as you see over and over again with these aging people saying, I wish I did this when I was younger. Or the universe, God, creator, will rearrange your world to make you go into your soul purpose, because God will not allow you to live without fulfilling that role. That world shifting, crashing happened to me after my own divorce and experiencing betrayal. And I realized afterwards, now 2 years out, that that had to happen for me to be able to fulfill my soul purpose, which I knew since high school what I was supposed to be doing, but was too afraid to go into that, which was using my voice. For so long, I was just staying behind the camera, even though I knew in my heart of hearts that I wanted to be in front of the camera, but I didn't know what I wanted to say. And now, after going through that deepest suffering, I have so much I want to share. And sometimes with that catastrophic ending of something, or that death that you experience, or that loss, that becomes that point of no return where you have a choice either to stay stagnant or to leap into your highest path. Even after that, even knowing that, okay, this is clearly my sign to go for my biggest dreams, I still kept myself small, still keeping myself back, because I've been so conditioned for so long to keep avoiding. Because all of us are often living in this space of fear, of scarcity, to do the things that we actually want to do. Being in this space of infinite possibility and of actually stepping into our greatest power, it is terrifying. We no longer have a blueprint to follow, because each of us have our own unique blueprint that we are creating as we go. I should say, co-creating as we go. And I'll get back to that point of who are we co-creating with. Another story about this idea of avoidance was with my nephew. I was just with him last month, and he had a bout of pink eye, and it was really tough to see him struggling with that. And my brother and my sister-in-law had to put in eye drops into his eyes, and he was absolutely terrified of putting these eye drops into his eyes. And he was kicking, screaming, just really not wanting to do it. And so instead, what did they do? They waited until he was asleep, opened his eye, and put the eye drop in, and there was absolutely no resistance. And it reminded me that we are all sort of flailing in fear and terror of things that are actually both good for us to do them and also that are actually not that scary, or that we don't have to that we don't have to actually feel unsafe around at all. That discomfort, that fear of discomfort, is what keeps us from doing the thing that is actually going to escalate us into our next chapter, into that next rung that we need to get to the top of whatever our goal is. It actually made me think about, people who are in the shallow end of the pool and just like flailing around, not realizing that they can actually touch the bottom and that they've always been able to touch the bottom. And that's us. We are always being anchored and we always have that ability to touch the bottom. And yet we're so scared thinking that we are not on solid ground. And this is where the idea of faith comes in. And this is something that after my own spiritual awakening, realizing that there is actually a presence, a divine presence that is anchoring us in. And if we are open to exploring the idea of a higher power, that when we are anchored in faith, that there is something that is looking out for us, that is a personal being that we can have a personal relationship with, that it changes the game for everything, because now you are able to give these seemingly impossible goals to the one that makes everything possible if we have faith in that being. And so I hope that this can be a helpful message to you, to be able to stop distracting your own self, to stop avoiding, and to be able to get to that next chapter by doing the thing, whatever it is. For us to no longer just be putting it away in the closet and instead be watching TV or smoking or drinking or eating or doom scrolling, whatever that thing is that is keeping us from actually fulfilling whatever our sole purpose is here. I implore us to be able to make a plan and to just go ahead and put it into action. I set up my tripod and camera and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. Let's just see what happens. And this is whatever happens, happens, It's about the process of even just taking the action, and that these steps will start to unfold as we take the actions more and more. Make your plan, go for it, and you will be held through it all. Sending peace and blessings for this journey ahead. We need you to step up into your own power for us to be able to create a world that is truly rooted in love and radical liberation.